thank you for coming. Today is the first session on organization from a psychic perspective, and I welcome Sundar, Bhaskar, Vinodini, and Safish. This session is recorded by Auroville Radio and it will happen in Tamil. So, my first question to you, my friends, would be: how do you relate to the three statements that are at the origin of Auroville? The dream, the charter, and to be a true Aurovillian.
Sundar. How do we relate to the charter, the dream, and to be a true Aurovillian is the first question. First, the mother's dream. I see the Tamil saying Yacham or Yavaram Kellier, meaning, all lands are homeland and everyone is kin, in mother's dream. When I put myself in relation to the dream, I want to think beyond my family. I should consider other families in Auroville as my own. I think, when we live like that, beyond our family, the divisions between us will disappear and a chance to fulfill the mother's dream will be created. One needs enormous energy to think beyond one's own family. One should go beyond. I believe I have engaged myself in it. Still, the ego in me prevents me many times. Still, I would like to do it despite it. Second is Auroville Charter. Though I am unable to say it all in Tamil, I am going to try. If one wants to come and stay here, to be part of this large family, this charter is very important. We have to be as per the charter, and we come here knowing this full well. Once after coming here, it is not correct to not adhere to it. Everything here belongs to everyone. No one can claim it as one's own. If we say so, then we shouldn't be in Auroville. Similarly, one shouldn't say, I don't want anything old. We cannot discard the old, we have to take old and new, and see how to use it, to both ourselves and Auroville's growth. Thirdly, here there are no politics. Auroville will be without politics. The way I see myself, if I think of Auroville as one family, there will be no place for politics. That's how I see myself, and that is what my journey is moving towards.
Bhaskar. Vanakam. The way I relate to Auroville is, I listen to my inner heart every day and do as it tells. Whether it is good or bad, I obey to it. Sometimes, many times, it could be wrong. Still, I try to correct myself every time. I always try to give myself fully to Auroville. Sometimes, I also engage outside Auroville for some work. Though my energy goes to matters outside of Auroville, I don't worry about it. I give my best to Auroville. I also help anyone I can, and I have not, and will not, say no to anyone. That is how I engage with Auroville. My only goal is not to be a hindrance to anything tried in Auroville. Secondly, about the Auroville Charter, I want to go along with the decisions of the Auroville community. This is my main goal. Thirdly, true Aurovillian. If someone asks me, in my opinion, I am doing everything as a true Aurovillian should do, but, if there is anything wrong or missing in it, I will definitely try to correct it. If someone points out my mistake to me, I will happily correct myself. This is my answer to your three questions.
Vinodini, Vanakam. When Sundar spoke, he started with unity. When Bhaskar was speaking, I realized goodwill. I also want to follow these lines. How will Auroville be? If we were to do rightly everything, how would Auroville be? I think the mother explains this through her dream. I think the document dream is to give us an idea of how Auroville will be. For that, what should we do? What should be done to fulfill that dream? The charter explains that. Is there no concept of unity outside Auroville? Since I come from Tamil Nadu, I am saying this. There is nothing that is not explained in Tamil culture. It is a lot about unity and goodwill in Tamil culture. If so, what is the specialty of doing it in Auroville? Why is it so special to do it in Auroville? To be a true Aurovillian tells you how one should be, to be able to participate in this experiment. so that the dream, that is Auroville, will be fulfilled. This is how I see these 3 documents. Maybe I see them as documents, because of my legal education. But that is how I am able to relate to them. So in my everyday life, am I being a true Aurovillian? Am I following the 4 points of the Charter in every walk of life? Is that dream a reality in my life? In very few instances, like Sundar said, I am also affected by my ego. I have a lot of defects. Like Bhaskar said, I also try to correct myself. That is what I think of as transformation. I think, to change our shortcomings, and to move towards that dream, is Auroville life.
Vanakkam. This is Satish. The question put before me is, how do I relate myself, as an Aurovillian, to the 3 aspects? One is the mother's dream, Auroville's charter, and the third is, how am I being a true Aurovillian? The foundation for everything is the mother's dream. The mother has a dream of how to realize human unity. Even while dreaming, she knew it is a difficult thing to achieve. So, she also said that it will be a step-by-step progress. If you see how I involve myself in the dream, I try my best to be as sincere as possible in my everyday life. I think of truth when I think of to be a true Aurovillian. The one thing that we need to follow, as said by the mother, is to be truthful. I see Auroville as a city of the truth. I keep it in my everyday life, as much as I can. Though it is not a 100%, as much as I can do, I make myself be truthful and transparent in everything I do. Through that, I contribute to the dream, human unity. I also agree with what Sundar said. We should think of everything together, not just about oneself. Human unity is nothing but to realize that we all are one. Auroville is just one example to this world. So, everyone that has come here is engaged in that. I am also engaged in that. So, dream. I see the charter as the instructions given to us. The mother is not present with us. If she had been, she would guide us. In her absence, she has written a 4-point charter to lead us to how to fulfill the dream. Whenever required, we should read it for ourselves. We need to see if we follow it in our daily life. I give my best to follow it in my life. For example, I always keep in mind and remind others when I am conversing the fact that Auroville belongs to nobody in particular. So we should never imagine Auroville is mine and I own it. If we keep that in mind, we can face many challenges easily. That is one thing. The mother has also said a lot of things into be a true Aurovillian. One thing I read is that is to be true. Like I already mentioned, in my everyday life, I practice it fully. To be true Aurovillian.
Sundar. It is a very special status bestowed upon us. Am I truthful to this honor? This is how I relate to how to be a true Aurovillian. Beyond that I see, how am I holding on to that in my life? Not letting go, no matter what. How I am going towards it. To be very truthful, I am unable to be 100%. Maybe this period, lifestyle, there are a lot of hindrances. So, if you ask me, then I will reply, no, I am not there fully. But that is what I aspire. I am presently 49. Maybe in 10 years. When I near my 60s I might develop the strength and maturity for it. That time, I would like to share about this in an event like this.
Bhaskar. I believe myself to be a true Aurovillian. I don't worry about others' opinion about me. With complete faith in what I do every day, I conduct myself as a true Aurovillian. I have come to work for Auroville. I want to give my energy to Auroville. Like Sundar said, our lifestyle is different. In my case, my energy is also engaged outside Auroville. I would like to stop all that draining, and totally engage in Auroville. Other than the charter, and many other regulations drafted out by the community, I always consider, what I do in faith, is what, to be a true Aurovillian, is.
Dan. Second question. According to you, what could be the possible shape of an organization driven by a psychic perspective?
Vinodini. How can we set up for ourselves an organization from the view of our psychic being? This is the second question. The psychic being in an individual should first be awakened, and then it should come forward to take over the whole person. Then only, he will get guidance as to how to conduct his life. Only after that, we can collectively decide how to govern ourselves. I doubt if we have even arrived at that place. Everyone has a lot of goodwill. But I am not sure if all of us have arrived there. Suppose we have, then I have an expectation or guess about it. If all our psychic has awakened, I don't think we will have some incoordination that is present with us now. Like whether your opinion is best or mine, this will not be there. Perhaps both views would be admissible or best. Or we might have a mindset that is open and willing to try out all views, ideas. Another one is, the psychic consciousness is in our higher consciousness. How will we organize ourselves when this consciousness comes into our outer life? The thing that I most want to achieve, understand, and know is, when this guides our everyday life. I think we should correct within ourselves step by step, through small steps. I believe individual yoga should be important to bring it in the collective level. It is also my feeling that only when it is done, in the individual level, we can take it to the collective level.
Bhaskar. I don't think I am matured enough to define myself. But I define myself through what I do every day. I believe it to be my psychic consciousness. In my opinion, what I do is right.
Sundar. This is an interesting topic. It is very important for us to understand, in this lifetime, about this psychic being in us, and how to awaken it. It is not easy. To organize ourselves on that perspective is difficult beyond that. But the Mother has given us everything to guide. She has also given us the freedom. The freedom will not be like how we think it when it comes to the psychic being. We will have to grip and hold some things, and not break the discipline. So it is not easy to create an organization. It may take several years. First, one has to be ready for that. And the rest of us have to be ready for that. When we all are ready, then we should check ourselves. Are we truly ready? Then only we can even start to think about such an organization. In my present state, I am unable to think of it, as I don't think I have arrived at a state for it.
Satish. We are asked to give an example of how we want to organize ourselves. I am not even able to relate to psychic being, presently, to be very frank, just like how you all expressed now. I would like to understand about it. I was actually thinking about it while you all were sharing your thoughts. I don't know how to express it at the level of the psychic being. Maybe in some time.
Sundar. You can also refer to psychic being as the true being. The truthful being. To be true to yourself is psychic. Your conscience says something, but your actions are otherwise. I think the psychic works at different levels. I live in the surface life level. I am not even aware of the many layers below that surface level. I see that I have not gone deep within. I believe the psychic being will be felt as Ananda, when we go deep within. That would be the kind of bliss that one cannot obtain in any other way. I am so drawn towards it, and want to go towards it willingly. At such time, the ideas that our knowledge will have, if we follow it to create an organization for ourselves, then I think even those who do not have this consciousness will be moved by this effort and collaborate. I would really like to know someone whose psychic is awakened, who understands all about it very well. I would like to travel with them. But we need to find someone like that first.
Vinodini. Let me share what I know. In India, we come from the heritage of spirituality and soul. What is new about this soul in Sri Aurobindo's Integral Yoga? In his Integral Yoga, the soul is an evolving soul. Man came after monkey, this we all know. According to Sri Aurobindo, we are in between monkey and the fully evolved man. In order to move to the next step in the ladder of evolution, our psychic being is the important aspect. Because it is of evolutionary nature. It is the part of the being which can realize the divinity within us. When the psychic being awakens, this being of ours comprising Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. Annamaya is made of perishable food, so our body is perishable. Prana is a slave of desires, so it is destructed. This being which is so unconscious will become immortal when the psychic awakens, and brings the divine aspect forward. The surface consciousness, that you referred to, will also be guided, if and when the psychic being in us is awakened. The first step in our integral yoga is to bring forward this psychic being within us. Because it is capable of connecting directly to the divinity, unlike present condition, where we are drowned in our ego, living in surface consciousness. When the psychic is awakened, there will be no necessity to sit and discuss this group, that policy, etc., because everyone will be connected with divinity. By each one of us connecting to one singular point, we all will be connected, and unity will be easily achieved. Right now unity is absent among us, because each one of us have our own definition of unity. Since we hold on to our own opinion, we are unable to get together. Also we argue, uniformity is unity. For example, we demand like you have more money, big house. I also want more money. This is not the way to unity. But when we all connect the one dot, we all can be completely united. The part of being within us, which is capable of connecting to that one dot of divinity, is psychic being. That's why it is important for it to be awakened in our yoga. This is why we want to create an organization from psychic perspective. Then we will not have this disharmony.
Satish. Now, since the two of you have shared a few thoughts, I also feel like sharing some more. I guess this is what the question is also. Ultimately, what can we do to unite all of us to that one point? Do you have any reply for that?
Vinodini. I am not giving a reply, I am sharing my feelings. This is why we started this whole discussion with those 3 documents. Suppose if we go to a college, a specific one, like a women's college, a particular category. What do we do when we go there? They give us their prospectus. If we go to the hostel, they give the conditions like certain things are okay, and certain things are not okay. Why? Because those conditions suit that place. Similarly, take Auroville. What is it? It's not just a place for unity. It is a lab. Why do we call it a lab? Because anything can happen in a lab. Suddenly things might burst, something accidental. If Bhaskar doesn't object, I take him as an example. You take his own guidance to follow. You do it with faith. So, if you come to know something is incorrect, you are willing to change. Did I understand you rightly? This is called plasticity in our vocabulary. Goodwill, opening. You have all the characters, only you are not familiar with the vocab. But you are following everything required to be here. That is why your life is in alignment with this place. The reason why I am saying this is, all this is explained in the 12 aspects of the mother's symbol and its meaning. Some like to read, so they read everything and follow one by one. Many do not like to do that. Because by nature they have a connection with the mother. Because the faith is stronger, the guidance is natural. Suppose if we all know those 3 documents upside down, by heart and follow it every day in our life, then imagine how fast our progress would be. That is why we call these documents core documents. That is why we want to read it. The impact it can bring in us, and our understanding to it. In my opinion, they are the main guidelines that can take us close to our psychic being. This is my understanding. I am not claiming I am right.
Bhaskar. Like Vinodini said, if everyone can unite in their hearts, that will be psychic being, I believe. When we unite our hearts, there should not be differences between us, and we should give our maximum effort for that. The highest discipline we can arrive at in Auroville is that there will be no ups and downs amongst us. This is also my faith, and I am trying to move towards this.
Satish. Not sure if I am right or wrong. I am just sharing openly. Earlier I didn't know how to reply to that question. Even now I am not sure if there is a reply. Nevertheless, I try to understand from your sharing. Like how Sundar said. One aspect of the psychic being is to be true to oneself. Suppose if we take that aspect as example, how to create an organization from that perspective. I think all these years, our managing organization is self-governance. We created this ourselves, and we have done this for all these years. This is something unique about Auroville, as seen by everyone. Because, if you see outside world, there will be a governmental structure. But here we organize our own selves. The reason why this question arises today is to see that how to do better than what we have been doing for so many years already. Auroville will see a progressive developmental growth. The work is to see what ways we can find to fulfill the dream. In that case, I also contributed to this governing organizational by being part of Auroville Residents Assembly. My sharing is based on what I learned and understood while being part of it. If we all started following being true to oneself, actually this is what I originally felt too. Because, in connection to my work, when I was tasked with some assignments, this happened recently, my response was this. I have a decision within myself about how to do my work. If I am asked to do something that is not in alignment with it, then it would be like, I am not true to my own self. I didn't think about others. This was for a public work. But that was my reply. If I am changing my stand, it means I am not truthful to myself. We need to give a commitment to ourselves. If we all give our commitments to ourselves, then the world around us, whether you want to call it a society, world or Auroville, there are chances for it to change. It is us who engage ourselves in our organizing. When we change ourselves by being true to ourselves, then it will be a big contribution towards the common welfare of Auroville. We, Aurovillians, have to take ourselves to that truthful state. The 3 documents, the ones you set as core documents, the dream, charter and to be a true Aurovillian, are the ways to take us there. We have to follow it in our everyday life as much as we can. We should remind ourselves about them. Even if we don't know them by heart, if it reflects through our action and situations, it will bring many changes. In our organization, self-governance, everywhere there will be changes. If we remain true to ourselves and act from there, changes will happen. This is my point of view.
Dan, the third question would be, in order to implement such organization in Auroville, how do you see yourself helping to create that shape?
Satish. The third question is asking us what would be our share to the organization, created in a psychic perspective. How can we all contribute to a setup guided by the psychic being? I feel I have already answered this largely. So I let you take over, I will join later.
Vinodini, I don't deny that this is an important question for our current situation. But we are going much ahead to see this question. There are so many work pending that has to be done at the foundation level. A general goodwill is something that is present all over the world. Next step is to give our lives, and come and live here to bring human unity in our integral yoga. For that we have to do a lot better. We study in school, then go to college, and then we specialize in something via a master's degree. Likewise, if we are to achieve something higher in this unique place in the whole world, a normal understanding alone will not be sufficient. I have seen many times Aurovillians get angry when asked whether they have read about the Mother or Sri Aurobindo. Can we come only if we have studied all that? The Mother has said goodwill is sufficient. Definitely I am not denying it, nor am I saying separately, all this is needed to come here. But, when we want to resolve a conflict here, it brings disharmony, because we are trying to resolve it, like how it is resolved outside. We have agreed to be here in a different way. There are people here from 124 countries. So our culture is different from others. Our requirements are different, and theirs are different. What we call as values, they will not be exactly 100% the same for these cultures. There are differences even in that. Here, we have children, we talk about cultural shock. This cultural shock is for both them and us. So we are unable to resolve our problems that occur in our outer life, the surface consciousness you referred to. This is why our organization so far is not successful. Why? Because we keep repeatedly thinking about a method, so it will never work for us. The place that has to be corrected is within. Step back. There is only one step we can do. We have to be united for this. In order for all of us to be united, the psychic being has to awaken. Each one of our psychic has to be awakened. I don't know how many lifetimes it will take for me. Until then, you have to patient. You might have the awakening, then you have to either guide me or not be a hurdle in my process. We cannot achieve it by doing a set-up discussion. That there will be 2 councils or 2 committees, let's have a guidelines. If I say I have a meeting at 2.30, you have to be here at 2.25. These are not the way to go about building an organization. How do you know? Maybe we will become excellent corporate office, but how we can become the place of human unity? You might have some parts of your higher being awakened, likewise everyone might. All these must arrive at one collective, and only when we work from there this can happen. Since your life is only at your hands, you can make the decision for the day. You can wake up and decide I am going to do this today. Oh, if Vinodini is objecting to this, I will change this, but I will change that. You can make this decision. But how can we make this decision for 2,000 people? We all think the same. We are true to the faith in our heart. Let's say, we are coming from similar background, so, somewhat, more or less, we will feel the same. What about him coming from the other side of the world? We don't even know what his faith system, we don't even know what his cultural values are. Then how can we do this? Not by document, agreement, contract we can create this organization. One work. Inner work, and doing it with collective. How can this be taught? If there is a method for it, the Mother would have written that in a clear-cut manner. She has indeed written some things very clearly. No drugs. Just one word and no explanation required for that. She says I won't make rules other than that. Why does she say that? She wants us to arrive there. You are going to be constantly evolving. If there are 4 rules, how can you evolve? So, we are sitting inside a laboratory, which has maximum freedom and maximum opportunities. We are not going to do that like this. Only by working within. But that's my opinion.
Bhaskar, my opinion is, I don't follow a well-defined lifestyle. I live my life, keeping in mind how we should and shouldn't live in Auroville every day. I follow whatever I know about what the mother has said. Of course, I don't follow the things I don't know. But if I come to know one day, I will follow them also one day. I didn't like a defined lifestyle. That is why I came to Auroville. First reason is that if I compare my life in Auroville to if I have lived in Pondicherry or my native Bamayarpalayam, only I know how many times better life I live here. I don't know if others know or not. Even today my family is calling me to come live with them, because my family don't know about the lifestyle in Auroville. They are ignorant about what Auroville is. But to me, my life is Auroville. I will do whatever I have to improve the quality of life, not just mine, but for entire Auroville community. Sundar, how do we see ourselves in an organizational setup, created in a psychic perspective? We have created lots of regulations and processes in Auroville. It changes according to each committee or service. Sometimes, these are agreeable to me, but not for others. It may not be agreeable for me. What is agreeable to others? Amidst all these, we don't know from which perspective/mindset these regulations were created by those. We don't know the situation from whence it is done. But if we do the same with the guidance of the psychic being, the result will be better. We may not be able to agree to something. But we have come here, agreeing to something higher. So we should be ready to bring change from within to outside, and accept from outside to the inner being. Only when we do like that, we can create an organization via the psychic. Maybe the regulations lack something that is in the deeper part within ourselves. But when we transform ourselves by realizing, we have come here for this is what our life is for, that is where our contribution begins.
Satish. In the reply to my earlier question, it was on how would be an organization guided by the psychic being. I have replied to it from my understanding. If we take to be true to oneself, as an example, my reply was based on that. So, how can I help to such a matter? First, this is a challenging matter. Everyone has their own understanding, as you said, about Auroville, about human unity, and all our cultural differences. Even the mother has said that this is challenging. That is why she has given us some instructions through the charter, her dream and to be a true Aurovillian. If we start following them, already such an organization can be created. My contribution is, what I am already doing is, as much as I can, and all the work I do, for example when I was in the Residence Assembly service, and presently when I am working as a resource person in a school, wherever I engage myself, I try to take the fact that to be truthful to oneself, and to those who are with me also. It is not just a desire, I am doing it. Not to boast about myself, but naturally, that is what I do. I try to make those with me understand that, whatever work you do, you have to be truthful to yourself. Like you said, why have we come to Auroville? This is not just about oneself. This is a collective matter, and is an example for the whole world. When we realize that, more and more, such an organization will evolve. My contribution is, like I said, I give my best to be truthful to myself and encourage others to do so. I am doing that and I will do. That is the question.
Vinodini, the inner work will keep happening. It will take many lifetimes for that. But, for the present situation, current requirement, there are some things, I suddenly remember, that can be done. Before saying that, ever since our talk started, all 3 of you are saying, whatever has to be done I am ready to do it. Individually, we are ready to give ourselves to Auroville. Still, I have a question, why we have not arrived there. But hearing you makes me very happy, and it inspires me to be like this. I thank all three of you. From my side, I do small actions. There will be a group in place to do a work. Like you said, some people will like their work, some will not. I follow a few things very particularly. Whether I like the group's work or not, always thank the predecessors. Because, if they have not brought the work to a particular place, the successors cannot continue it. So, I follow that. No matter, whomever writes an email, even I dislike it, I unfailingly reply. We have this habit, that we don't respond to emails. We don't respect each other in small ways. Similarly, like Bhaskar said here, we want to be without ups and downs amongst us. Didn't you? It is a very important thing for me. So I try to think, all the work was done by me. Sometimes I am unable to follow, I forget. But mostly, I follow it with discipline. That practice has made me realize gratitude. I liked it, it makes me very happy. When they understand that we realize the value of their work and receive it, it makes them happy and it makes me happy. I don't know how to explain the logic of it. But it is a very nice experience. Lately, I have started giving criticism, only for the act, because I don't like when someone criticizes me, I feel bad. Because I think, I have come here to give my life here. But, if I think about it, everyone came here to give their life. So, why should we criticize them? So, as much as I can, I try to express what is not agreeable in the act. I mean, in terms of an organization. If we have to go to a group or committee with a complaint, instead of saying you did this, I am practicing to say, because of this action, I am affected this way. What can be done to resolve this? Earlier, I wasn't doing all this. Because of the ego, you spoke about it. I used to say, what you did is wrong, you didn't even know this, why did you come to this work? But now, I have changed myself. Because the mother has said in that document, that first we have to change. Because I don't want this dream to be a dream. I don't know if Auroville will be complete in my lifetime. But I want to give my 100% to it. So, I change myself by taking small steps. It is nice because it spreads, and each one teaches the good things that they follow. I humbly feel if we change our approach to those who are sitting responsible for organization, some problems could be averted.
Sundar, the way I see how I should try first, we can take small steps. We can't do huge things overnight. I want to change small things within me first, but, before that, I have to search and realize what will be my contribution to the creating of a good society, so that I can change the small things within me for that. I have worked in several places. First, I have to digest the various things I grasped while working in various places. After that, how will I start? Despite being here for several years, the truth is, I have not taken one step towards the true Auroville life. And I like to take that first step here, now, hearing these three talk. I will think and prepare myself for this step.
Thank you for listening to this testimonial. If you would like to take part in this project on the inner being, or if you have any questions or comments for our team or participants, please feel free to contact us using the email at the bottom of this webpage.
This is Auroville Radio, voices from the city of Dawn.